Rain tapped against the dealership glass like impatient fingers. Inside, the air smelled of wax, rubber, and money. Mark stood in front of me, holding a car key ribboned in silver. His smile was pure showtime. "Surprise, baby. You deserve it." A polite wave of applause rippled from the staff. A black SUV gleamed under the showroom lights, sleek, expensive, impossible to ignore. For a moment, my throat tightened. I'd dreamed of a car like this. Then the salesman flipped a folder open and a line of text caught my eye. Registered owner, Caroline Miller. The world didn't explode, it simply went quiet. The kind of quiet where your heartbeat becomes the only sound. Mark slid an arm around my shoulder, beaming at the phones recording us. "You always said you needed something reliable." Reliable. He had no idea how that word sounded now. "Mrs. Brooks, would you like to start her up?" the salesman asked. I climbed inside. Leather soft as butter. Air cool and new. I pressed the ignition, forcing a smile for the cameras, until Mark's phone lit in his pocket. Caroline Red Heart calling. My hand froze on the wheel. That was the moment my smile turned into armor. And my love turned into strategy. Mark insisted on recording the whole way out of the lot, narrating like we were a commercial couple. "Look at my gorgeous wife in her new ride." I laughed on cue. The kind of laugh that hides a scream. When we hit the highway, he relaxed, humming along to the radio. I gripped the steering wheel hard enough for my knuckles to pale. "Crazy, huh?" he said. "You finally got your dream car." I murmured. "I'll make sure to take care of it." His phone buzzed again in the cup holder. He didn't pick up this time. He didn't have to. I already knew who it was. When we reached home, he hopped out first, tossing me the keys like a prize. "Dinner at 7? "Sure," I said, still sitting in the driver's seat, watching him disappear through the front door. The SUV purred softly beside me, perfect and spotless. But all I could see was that name. Caroline Miller. Typed, printed, permanent. The next morning, I asked, light as air, "Hey, why did the papers say Caroline Miller?" He froze, then chuckled too fast. "Oh, that? Just a dealership mix-up. Some clerk probably used an old template." I kept buttering my toast. Easy mistake." "Yeah, totally," he said, eyes darting everywhere but mine. He reached over, covering my hand. "You trust me, right?" I looked at our joined fingers. "Of course." He smiled, relieved. That night he snored softly beside me. I lay awake, tracing patterns on the ceiling, memorizing the sound of a man who could lie and still sleep peacefully. By dawn I knew, I wouldn't confront him. Not yet. I'd rather watch. 12:43 a.m. The vibration of his phone pulled me out of half-sleep. He slid out of bed, whispering, "Yeah. I told you I handled it." I kept still, eyes closed. "I can't talk. She's asleep." She. Not my name. When he stepped onto the porch, I reached for his phone. The screen flashed another message. "Caroline Red Heart, miss you. Same place tomorrow?" I took a picture of it with my phone and put his back exactly as it was. When he returned, I rolled over, pretending to stir. He kissed my shoulder. "Go back to sleep, babe." I did. But in my mind, I was already awake in another world, one where I didn't cry. One where I planned. Morning sunlight spilled across the kitchen tiles like nothing had happened. Mark whistled as he made coffee. "You okay, babe? You've been quiet lately." "Just tired," I said, smiling. He kissed my forehead and left for work, humming the same careless tune. As soon as the door shut, I opened his laptop. No password change. Typical. His email synced automatically. And there she was. Caroline Miller, HR assistant. 26. New hire. Her emails to him were soft, careless things, inside jokes, late-night attachments titled "For Your Eyes Only," face blowing a kiss. My pulse didn't race. It slowed. Every file, every timestamp, every message, I saved them all. When I closed the laptop, I wasn't a wife anymore. I was an architect drafting the blueprint of his downfall. Because revenge isn't rage. It's patience in heels. And I have all the time in the world. 3 days later, I walked into Mark's office with lunch. He didn't expect me. His assistant blinked in surprise. "Mrs. Brooks?" "Just dropping something off," I said, smiling. Mark looked up, startled but smooth. "Hey, babe." "You didn't have to." I placed the lunch bag on his desk. "You've been skipping breakfast." "I worry." Then I turned, slowly, toward the open doorway. A woman stood there holding files. Short black hair. Nervous eyes. Pretty in that forgettable kind of way. "Caroline, right?" I said, extending a hand. "Mark's told me so much about you." Her eyes flickered between us. "Oh, hi. Nice to meet you." Mark cleared his throat. "Caroline's been helping me with a few reports." "Reports?" I smiled. He does love teamwork. When I left, I didn't slam the door. I just let the silence stretch long enough for her to feel it. After that visit, I became a ghost in her world. A polite follow on LinkedIn. A casual comment under one of her posts, "Beautiful presentation. You're talented." She replied with a heart emoji. 2 days later, I sent a connection request from my design page. She accepted instantly. Every post, every story she shared, I saved. Her patterns. Her moods. Her favorite coffee spot. When she checked in at Cafe Muna on Saturday, I was already there, hoodie up, sunglasses on, watching from a corner table. She laughed over a cappuccino, texting someone. Mark, probably. I didn't feel jealousy anymore. Just curiosity about how far I could let this play out before she noticed she wasn't the one hunting anymore. That evening, I sent her a message. Cara Brooks. Hi Caroline, smiling face with smiling eyes. I just wanted to say thank you for helping Mark at work. He's been so stressed lately, and you've been kind. She replied almost instantly. Caroline. Oh. You're so sweet. He's a great boss. I love working with him. A great boss. I smiled. Cara. You must let me buy you coffee sometime. Just us girls. I'd love to get to know the person who keeps him sane. She hesitated. Then. Caroline. Sure. I'd like that. Perfect. Because people like Caroline never suspect kindness. Not until it's too late. Cafe Muna again. Mid-morning. She waved when I entered. Nervous but excited, like a student meeting her teacher. You look even prettier in person, I said, setting down my bag. She blushed. Thank you. Wow, I love your hair. Flattery. Innocent. I mirrored her tone, her body language, tiny reflections that made her feel seen. After a few laughs, she leaned closer. You and Mark are such goals. I always tell him how lucky he is. I said softly. Luck is funny. It runs out when you stop feeding it. She tilted her head, confused. I smiled again. Oh, nothing. Just marriage talk. I paid for the coffee. She thanked me. And when I stood up to leave, I made sure she saw the wallpaper on my phone. A picture of Mark and me, forehead to forehead, smiling too perfectly. Her eyes froze on it for just half a second. Good. The first crack. That night, Mark came home late. Long day, he sighed. Caroline messed up a few reports. I had to fix them. Oh, I said, chopping onions. Maybe she's distracted. He frowned. What do you mean? Nothing, I smiled. She just looked tired when we met for coffee. His hand froze midair. You met for what? Oh, didn't she tell you? We had a little chat. She's lovely. He forced a laugh, too thin. That's nice. I turned off the stove, wiped my hands, and looked at him, really looked. The sweat at his temples. The flicker of panic behind his calm. Mark, I said softly, are you sure you want to keep playing this game? He blinked. What game? The one where you pretend I don't know. Silence. Heavy, slow, final. Then I smiled again. Dinner's ready. He didn't eat much that night. The next morning, I made breakfast. Pancakes. Fresh juice. A kiss on his cheek. Mark looked at me like he couldn't decide if I was being sweet or setting a trap. That uncertainty was my favorite perfume. Morning, babe, he said cautiously. Morning. I smiled, serving his plate. I was thinking we should go away for the weekend. You and me. Just us. He blinked. Really? Yeah. You've been working too hard. We need to breathe. He studied me, the calmness, the softness. Men never suspect peace, they only fear anger. Sure, he said slowly. That sounds great. I leaned over, kissed his forehead. Good. Let's fix us. He smiled, relieved. And in that single moment of trust, I knew he was already lost. Because that trip wasn't for us. It was for me. We booked a weekend at a quiet mountain lodge 2 hours out of Denver, all glass, pine wood, and perfect silence. Mark spent the drive trying to talk about reconnecting. I nodded, smiled, said all the right things. Halfway there, I slipped my phone into my purse, camera on, recording. It wasn't about catching him anymore. It was about documenting his fall. At dinner, I poured him wine, watched him loosen up, his voice warm with relief. I'm really glad we're doing this, he said. Me too. I slid my hand across the table, touching his. You know, I met Caroline before you started seeing her. The glass slipped from his fingers, shattering on the floor. He froze. Cara. I kept my voice calm. It's fine. I'm not angry. He swallowed. Then why bring it up? Because I want you to tell me the truth. On your own. Without me having to show you what I already know. He stared, pale, trembling. Who told you? Your phone did. Your laptop did. And Caroline's eyes did. He dropped his gaze, whispering, it was a mistake. I leaned closer. No, Mark. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You built a relationship. You registered a car in her name. He exhaled shakily, rubbing his temples. I didn't mean for it to go that far. That's the problem, I said softly. You never mean the things you destroy. Then I stood. Pack your things. We're going home tonight. By Monday, the office felt like a stage set for a play only I knew the script to. Caroline avoided me, her steps small and nervous. Mark tried to act normal, cracking jokes that no one laughed at. Then, around noon, the email went out. An anonymous message sent to every department. Subject line: confidential, conflict of interest, Mark Brooks and HR personnel. Attached were pictures, time-stamped dinner dates, cozy car rides, private work trips. Nothing illegal. Just damning. Dean Riker, my boss, called me in immediately. Kara, did you know about this? I looked him dead in the eye. Dean, I'm just as shocked as you are. He exhaled, furious. This is serious. HR will have to investigate both of them. I nodded. Of course. That's the right thing to do. And just like that, the machine started turning, quietly, relentlessly. That night, Mark came home shaking. They suspended me. Pending review. Someone leaked private emails. Leaked? I repeated softly. How terrible. He slammed his fist on the counter. Don't play with me, Kara. Was it you? I tilted my head. You really think I'd risk my job over your affair? He stared at me, searching my eyes, but there was nothing there for him to find. I could lose everything, he whispered. I walked closer, inches from his face. You already did. Then I turned away. The sound of him breaking down behind me felt like music echoing off marble. 2 days later, Caroline showed up at my office. Eyes red. Lip trembling. Please, she whispered. I didn't know he was still married. I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't lying. I believe you, I said softly. She blinked, shocked. You do? Yes. You were naive. But not cruel. He used you. Her tears fell freely. What's going to happen to him? I shrugged. He'll learn what it feels like to lose something beautiful. She nodded slowly, shame heavy on her face. Before she left, she turned back. You're stronger than I thought. No, I said. Just quieter. That evening, I stood by the window, looking out at the same black SUV gleaming under the streetlight. It still carried her name on the papers. But the insurance? The loan? The payments? All now redirected, legally, to Mark Brooks. He would pay for that car until the day it rusted. I smiled. Poetic symmetry. Because that's what betrayal deserved. Not rage. Not blood. Just quiet, elegant consequence. The house felt different now. Not empty, just lighter. Mark barely spoke. He moved through rooms like a ghost, mumbling into his phone, trying to clean up the mess. Caroline had quit the firm 2 days after the investigation began. The rumor mill had eaten her alive. Dean called me in again. Kara, we appreciate your professionalism through all this. Once HR closes this case, I want you to take over Mark's liaison duties. You've earned it. I smiled politely. Thank you, Dean. But inside, something twisted. I didn't feel proud. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt done. That night, I walked past Mark's office. He sat there, slumped, staring at his old work ID card. Everything I worked for is gone, he said quietly, not even looking up. Then maybe, I replied, you should think about who you built it with. And I went upstairs. 3 weeks later, he came to me with tears in his eyes. Please, Kara. Let's fix this. I'll go to therapy. I'll change. I looked at him, the man I used to love, and felt nothing. Not hate. Not pity. Just closure. Mark, I said softly, you didn't break me. You freed me. He dropped his gaze. So that's it? You're really leaving? I already left, I said. the day I saw her name on those papers. The next morning, I called my lawyer. By the end of the week, the divorce papers were signed. He didn't fight it. He just cried. And for the first time in months, I slept without waking up at 3 a.m. replaying every lie. When HR finally closed their case, they fired Mark for conflict of interest and breach of ethics. He lost his job, his credibility, and most of his savings paying off the car he bought for someone who wasn't even around anymore. Dean promoted me formally, Senior Project Director. A title I'd worked 5 years to earn. The morning after the announcement, I stood in my new corner office, coffee steaming, Denver skyline glowing gold, and let the silence sink in. Not revenge. Not justice. Peace. My assistant knocked. "Congratulations, Ms. Brooks. You really deserve this." I smiled. "Thank you, Emma. And call me Kara." When she left, I whispered to myself. This time, I built it alone. And it's still standing. One evening, as rain tapped softly against the window, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. It was Caroline. I just wanted to say I'm sorry again. I've moved to Oregon. Starting over. Thank you for not destroying me when you could have. I stared at the message for a while. Then typed back. You didn't deserve the blame he put on you. I hope you build something better. We both will. I set the phone down, exhaled deeply, and realized something. Revenge hadn't healed me. Forgiveness did. Quiet, unseen, but real. A month later, I went back to the dealership, the same one where this story began. The same silver rain streaked across the glass. The same hum of polished engines and polite salesmen. Only this time, I wasn't standing beside Mark. I was alone. A young salesman walked up, smiling. Looking for something in particular? Yes, I said. Something reliable. He nodded, showing me options. And then I saw it, a white hybrid SUV, nothing fancy, but solid. Clean. Quiet. Mine. When I signed the papers, I paused over the line where my name went. Kara Brooks. My name. No one else's. As I drove out of the lot, wind brushing against my face, I smiled. Because the real revenge wasn't what I took from him. It was what I reclaimed for myself. My peace, my worth, my name. The dealership smelled the same, wax, rubber, and rain. But this time, I wasn't trembling. I walked straight to the counter, registration papers in hand. Hi, I said to the clerk. I need to correct an ownership detail. He glanced at the document, registered owner, Mark Brooks/Caroline Miller. His brows lifted slightly. And what should it say? I smiled, calm and steady. Just one name. Kara Brooks. He nodded, typing quietly. That'll be easy enough. As the printer hummed and the new papers slid out, I felt something lift off my chest. The weight of deceit, the ghost of humiliation. When I took the keys, the reflection on the glass showed only me. No shadow beside me. No shared signature. I whispered. This time, it's mine, everything is. The first morning in my new car, I didn't blast music or call anyone. I just drove. No destination, no pressure, just air, motion, and sunlight sliding through the windshield. For months, I'd imagined this drive differently, triumphant, defiant. But now it was simple. Peaceful. I wasn't running from anything, I was driving towards something. At a red light, I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. My hair fell loose, my lips curved slightly, no forced smile this time. I whispered, finally, mine. And when the light turned green, I didn't just move forward. I floated. 2 months later, my office plant was replaced with a nameplate that read, Kara Brooks, founder and creative director. My new firm was small, 5 people, 1 rented floor, and endless potential. We specialized in brand storytelling. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd rebuilt my life around stories that were honest. Then one afternoon, my assistant knocked. "Kara, there's someone here from Levana Skincare." I froze. That was the same luxury client from the project that got Mark fired. The rep stepped in, smiling. "We remember your leadership," she said. "When the old firm fell apart, we wanted to work with the one person who kept her head." I laughed softly. I'd be honored. When she left, I stood by the window, watching the city lights blink awake, and whispered, "Everything comes back, one way or another." That night, I got one final email. Subject line, "Please. Just talk to me." It was from Mark. The preview line read, "I miss you. I'm sorry. Can we start over?" I didn't even open it. Instead, I hovered over the trash icon, then smiled, a small, genuine curve of peace. Click. Delete. My assistant knocked a moment later. "The new car ad draft is ready, Ms. Brooks." "Send it in," I said. It was a commercial for a new electric SUV. The tagline flashed across the screen. "Drive forward. Leave the past in the dust." I stared at the words for a moment and whispered, "Perfect." The ad premiered a week later, our biggest client launch yet. During the screening, the lights dimmed, and my voice played over the visuals. Some journeys begin with heartbreak. Some with betrayal. But the strongest ones begin when you finally stop looking back. The audience applauded softly. My team smiled. And I felt something deep, quiet, and steady, closure. When the event ended, I stepped outside. The evening air smelled of rain again, just like that first day. Only this time, it didn't sting. It cleansed. I got into my car, and watched the city lights blur past. For the first time, there was no anger, no fear, no need to prove anything. Just a calm knowing. The best revenge is peace. The truest power is self-worth. And the only thing worth driving toward is freedom. Fade to black. Title card. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction, it's about direction.